Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be taking on the Crazed Shellbrute for the first time on my account because it has made it to global server. The team we're going to be trying is different from any team I've shown on video before, and it is getting the highest damage score because in the last 12 hours we've done a lot of theory crafting, and it seems like using Kruger as a shield breaker in the Mauler comp along with PHRAESTO as a damage carry on the buff tile in the back with the resonating spell is the most effective team right now. Now, I'm sure in today as well as the coming days, we're going to keep testing and new teams are going to come out which might be improvements to this, but this seems to be a pretty basically fine-tuned team, and we're going to be showing that right now. We're at 791 resonating level on all of my heroes. But in order to run this team, you're going to need to have PHRAESTO invested. If you only have one copy of PHRAESTO, then there are other teams which work just fine with the epic PHRAESTO, but this comp is relying on using PHRAESTO as a damage dealer. And so you're going to need to have him, like ideally Supreme or Supreme Plus, at least plus 10 exclusive equipment. Okay, let's go ahead and field the rest of the heroes. Now, the other hero on the buff tile is going to be Lily May, because if you didn't know, by clicking the boss icon in the upper right, it shows you that your allies on the prime carrier tiles are going to be dealing 40% more damage to the boss. And so Lily May and your carry PHRAESTO are going to do great there. And now we're going to have behind the PHRAESTO illusion, we will be running the Smoky. Yep, and that Smoky is going to reach everywhere on the map from this position, and his blue aura will reach the boss, which is really important because his damage is really important to this team. And then we're also going to have Mikola all the way in the back over here. And finally, we're going to have Kruger. And the only change of positioning that we've made in the like just recently to this team is moving everyone a little bit back. And this is going to cause Kruger to have more uptime before getting gulped, so he can break the shield more effectively. But the cool thing about this, with the resonating spell onto main PHRAESTO, he's going to be casting ultimate pretty regularly, and his ultimate is enough to break the boss's shield. Okay. Without further ado, the first test ever on our account on the global server. And here we go. We need to watch him 1x speed. So it's really important to look at the positioning here. We've made it so that Mikola goes to the left, and when she casts Courage Sphere, it is going to buff up the Lily May, and we want the main PHRAESTO getting buffed. It's fine if the illusion doesn't get buffed because he is dealing a lot of damage as well. Both of the PHRAESTOs are dealing a lot because of their damage, which deals HP percent per second. I think it's Vicious Sting. We can take a look at that after this. But the main PHRAESTO with the resonating spell, that's more important that he gets the haste buff. So Kruger did get gulped really quickly. And he actually did get gulped first. But sometimes it works. Now here, watch the shield. The shield is still active. This is not good news for us, because without the Kruger up, we don't have a reliable way of breaking the boss's shield. Lily May is going to break it right now, but that was way too much uptime of the shield. However, if from this point on, Kruger can consistently break the shield, and also most importantly, we want Smokey's blue aura to get maximum damage. We don't want the shield coming up right now, and if it does, we want the Kruger to just break it. And thankfully, Kruger's ultimate going off right now, and along with PHRAESTO ultimate, that's going to be enough to break the shield, which is important. So 28 billion damage, but as the fight goes on and on, you're going to be dealing less and less damage because his defenses keep scaling up. And the highest damage score I've seen for today is 34 billion, but I think a 35 billion would have been possible with that same account if he ran this formation that we just kind of updated. Okay, 31 billion, 20 seconds left. Even if we could get 34 billion with 791 resonating level, I think that's a really impressive score for our first run. And looking at this fight, it still looks like maybe this is not the best. Well, even with the shield up, we're still dealing a lot of damage to him. I don't know about this shield mechanic. Like, when his shield is up, we should be doing practically no damage to him, but somehow it seems like we're almost doing the same. Look at that. Almost 35 billion damage on our first attempt. 791 resonating level. That is no joke. That's a really good score. You open up 27 chests, and in total, the damage output, as you can tell, a lot of it is coming, most of it is coming from the PHRAESTO. So Vicious Sting. Yes, this is the one that causes the enemy to take HP per second damage, and of course, against like a Primal Lord, it's gonna be capped at 40% of his attack, but basically that's 40% attack as true damage. Like the 40% of his attack as a number, that will be dealt as true damage every second. while the skill is active. And with the haste buff from Mikola, it's really good. So in that entire fight, we need to watch the replay again and kind of analyze what happened and maybe how we can optimize the positioning, because we do think that this team is really nearing its maximum potential with PHRAESTO as a damage carry, and now it will just come down to getting the best possible position so that you can get as much damage output. So if we watch the replay, we all go up to the front, and the first hero to get eaten is the Kruger. But for some reason, it's still doing pretty well. There's a really weird sort of mechanic that if you deal less damage to the boss in the earlier stage, he ramps up his defenses slower. And then you can kind of burst him when he's at a lower, like lower damage total dealt, and it somehow works out in your favor. But I don't fully understand those mechanics, but it's something that we've just noticed from all the testing we've seen so far. So interesting, the Kruger did get gulp first. My actual idea by trying this positioning with the Kruger and Mikola more back was to have Kruger not get gulp first, but he still did get gulp. But the thing is, we need Mikola to be in the position she's at right now, because if she's in any other position, her haste buff is not going to reach the Lily May. I think if Mikola is in the center position, I'm pretty sure haste buff would not reach her. And the good thing about this sort of comp is Mikola has the most uptime, which is going to power up the haste of our main PHRAESTO, who's our carry, as well as the Lily May. So that's why it seems kind of good. And now when we need the shield breaking the most, we have the Kruger back out here to begin breaking the shield. And that was a really quick shield break right there. But then what happens from this point on? Because there was a big uptime of his shield, and I think Kruger was still not gulped, or maybe he gulps the Kruger back. Yeah, because right now he has two heroes in his belly, and what he'll do is he'll spit out one of them, but then he's probably going to gulp the PHRAESTO. Yeah, PHRAESTO is gone now, and now we don't have the means of breaking the shield as effectively. Mikola is also gone. For some reason, having the Kruger getting gulped first is better for you, even though it's kind of counterintuitive. Because the thing is, everyone's gonna get gulped. All of your melee heroes are gonna get gulped. It's just a matter of which order you want them to be gulped in. And it seems like we want Kruger in that mid period to just break the shield, and now we don't really care about it towards the end. We were still dealing a lot of damage through the shield. Really good, 34.8 billion damage. I'm really impressed by that. Okay, now there is another version of a team to try, and it is very similar to this, also using PHRAESTO as a carry, but instead of the Kruger, it is using Odie. And I just want to make sure I get the right positioning here. I think it was like this. Yeah, I believe it was like this for the positioning. So I'm going to try this just as a comparison, because this is another thing you can try maybe if Kruger is not working out so well for you, and let's go ahead and give it a shot. But for my final attempt, I'm going to save that in case any other great team comes out later on in the day. And I have another account that has really highly invested heroes, even higher resonating level than me, that we're going to do testing on as well. And so basically a lot of testing will be coming out today, so I'll try to always update you with whatever the top teams are at any point in time. Okay, so the problem here is that Odie I don't think is getting buffed up by the Courage Sphere of Mikola. But at least Lily May and the main PHRAESTO are. And Odie is not your main damage source here. Odie is just kind of fulfilling the job that Kruger does, which is to break the boss's shield, right? Because once you stack enough poison onto the boss, the triple tap ability of Odie is going to break the shield. And he's doing it pretty effectively. Yeah, people have tried this team and compared it to the Kruger team and get very similar scores. But the Kruger team on, like, 3 people have tested so far, and the Kruger team does a little bit better. And this is a major problem. But we break the shield fast. Okay, good. Because when the Smokey is dealing his damage, you do not want it to get reduced. Yeah, that's pretty important. Okay, so we're up to 25 billion damage, 41 seconds left. And then after this, I'm going to show you the different team comps you can use for Wilder teams and for Mauler teams if you don't have an invested PHRAESTO. Because these 2 team comps I'm showing right now, this is for when you have a highly built PHRAESTO, because you're using him as a damage carry, and you saw he dealt 13 billion damage, the most damage of our team. And if you don't have the invested PHRAESTO, then it'll be better for you to run the other comps, which just use PHRAESTO basically to break the boss's shield and not as a major source of damage. Like at most, like kind of sub DPS. But Resonating Spell is definitely going to be the best option. So that is something you're going to want to keep in mind. Okay, yeah, looking really similar in the damage score. We're going to get really close, maybe get to 34 billion. Yeah, but the other one did get 34.8 or so billion. Wow, almost the same. So it's really similar whether you're using OD as a shield breaker or whether you're using Kruger. Maybe we can try a different positioning of Kruger, and I'm sure people are going to test that. Maybe there's a more optimal positioning of Kruger to time your being gulped differently. Okay, now I'm not going to do my final attack, but I'm just going to show you the other team comments, which I showed you in my video I uploaded yesterday as well, but I'll just show it again. So for the Mauler team, it's going to be Smokey, and now you can try different positionings here, but for me, this is kind of what I used to get my top score for the Mauler team when I was testing on my viewer's account. So this is what I would recommend. Oh no, actually, was it like this? I think it's really confusing. I think it was like this. I'm not completely sure. I think it was something like this. But basically, you have the 3 Maulers, Mikola, OD, and Smokey. This can work as long as you have Smokey at Mythic Plus, OD and Lily May at Mythic Plus. The other 2 can be Epic, even one copy, the PHRAESTO and the Mikola. You can try Mikola in these 2 positions, but basically what you want to happen is you want Mikola to be in a more central position to be buffing up the Lily May, because the Lily May is going to be coming here. I mean, another option is you could have... Yeah, I think probably Mikola would run up here. You want Mikola to run up here, basically. So maybe even put the PHRAESTO here, the illusion, then this forces the Mikola up here. I think that's probably what I would do. Okay, this is the Mauler team. Now, if you want to go for the Wilder team, it's still going to be using Lily May as a damage dealer with the resonating spell. And now you're going to have Iron because you need another melee tank. Now that you don't have Mikola, the boss will gulp up to 3 heroes, so you want to have all 3 being able to be gulped. And Iron is over here. And then we're going to have one final Wilder, and then also... Oh no, Iron is not here. We're going to have Smokey. Smokey is really important at Mythic Plus. He deals a lot of damage. You saw in that previous fight, he did like 9 billion damage. He just hits really hard, and so you always want to try to incorporate him into a team. And the final Wilder is really important, is Brian, and you can use him even if you have one copy of him. He's just here for his shield breaking power with his which can even be at 1 copy because of his ultimate ability, and also his magic charms are going to increase the damage the boss receives. So this is a position you can try, or you can try the other side. Yeah, they're basically very similar, and it's just up to you what you want to try. And actually probably give the energy to the Iron, so you can cast ultimate a bit more. It doesn't really matter. So these are the teams you can try. The Mauler Wilders are your best option. Lightbearers, as of right now, is not going to be the best. Maybe when the boss goes below 50% health, there'll be some Valor possibilities. So I won't recap the Lightbearer team. But that is also an option you can try, and maybe if there is a good showcase of that, I will do it in a future video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Good luck getting a high score on the Crazed Shellbrute. Basically, try one of these 3 teams. These will be the best for you, and the one which requires the least investment is really like the Mauler team, because you only need Smokey, OD, Lily May up to Mythic Plus, or the Wilder team, as long as you have 1 copy of Brian, 1 copy of Mikola. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you the Lightbearer team as well. The low investment version of a Lightbearer team, which can also do pretty well for you. So, definitely it is an option to consider. So, let's have the PHRAESTOs over here. And then we're going to have... not Lily May, we're going to have the Lightbearer heroes. And that is going to be Corin in the back tile, Rowan also on the energy tile. And then finally we have Cassidy. Cassidy because she's a really effective shield breaker. And finally we're going to have Mikola because we need another melee hero because the boss is going to gulp 3 heroes. So we need 3 of them. And Mikola gives the attack buff to your team and haste buff to Corin. So this is the position, and this can work even if your PHRAESTO, Mikola, Cassidy are all epic. Even your Rowan can be epic. All you need is Corin Mythic Plus. So this is the most free-to-play friendly team and a really good option. If you have Smokey at Mythic Plus, then what you can do is you can run Smokey here, and then you can run any Lightbearer shield breaker, but the best one is actually Chippy if you don't have Sinbad as Supreme Plus. if you have, this is not a troll, Chippy is actually good because his ultimate ability breaks the shield, and he's also taking the first gulp. Like, basically, it's not that Chippy is actually doing any, he's doing what needs to be done, which is shield breaking. He's a melee hero to take one gulp, and he's fulfilling the Lightbearer faction needs. That's the best. Like, for example, if I ran Lucius here, it's even worse, because Lucius can't break the boss's shield with any of his abilities, but Chippy can with his ultimate. It hits hard enough, dealing over 300%, which is what you need to break the shield. So, yeah, you can do Chippy here, or if you have Sinbad at Supreme Plus, he can break the shield. But if you don't have Sinbad at Supreme Plus, he doesn't break the shield effectively, because it's about his Supreme Plus upgrade to his Duo Cut ability. Prior to that, he doesn't have any skill which can actually break the boss's shield, because you need to hit 300 or more % attack multiplier in a single hit, not multi-hit adding up to over 300. This one single hit has to be over 300%. And Sinbad's Duo Cut ability can fulfill that requirements only after he has his Supreme Plus, which will power up his Duo Cut more onto enemies marked as hit or guard. But until that, you can, before that, you can run Chippy, or you can run the Cassidy team I showed. So this is recapping the teams. Hopefully this was helpful. Good luck getting a high score today. Try to level up your team, and then at the end of the day, do your attacks, because you're going to gain more chests, as you can see, if you get a higher score. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That is going to be it for this one, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.